Okay, so we've been pretty diligent about the work around our creative and artistic ecosystem. There has been a lot more clarity with what we want to do and how our life is going to move. I move fast, so as long as I'm being diligent, as long as I'm being disciplined with the work at hand, with the task at hand. I don't want you to see my desk, so I'm going to shift you a little bit. You can see it less now. Okay. As long as I'm being diligent and disciplined, I am able to see great changes in my life, Whew. I just have to believe in myself. You just have to believe in yourself. And as you grow that belief in yourself, as I am doing, I've manifested beautiful people around me, especially recently, who just pour into you lovingly and willingly, right? Without feeling like it's taking away from them. It's not coming from a place of insecurity, it's coming from a place of love, right? And what that does for you is support you on your own journey to self-belief and I wouldn't say self-reliance, because when you start to believe in yourself, you do become aware of the things that you potentially lack and how other people can help you fulfill that. So, it's been an incredible journey thus far. I'm on a very high today. It could be different tomorrow, but I'm on a very high, and so I'm gonna capitalize on this opportunity to just talk my shit. Oh man, I'm working on a video and a podcast and an event that they do parallel each other, and it's regarding the shadow aspect of the self, the shadow aspect of humanity. Everyone has a shadow. You have a shadow, your mama has a shadow, your grandmammy has a shadow, I have a shadow, you feel me? It's a part of your soul. It's the part of your soul that protects you. It's the part of your soul that holds the darkness of you. And it's a very pointed and a focused theme for me right now, because I have gone through a very long period of integrating the shadow. And what that means is that you let yourself feel the fullness of your darkness, of your dark moments, of your dark time. And then you process it. You understand it as part of yourself. You don't distance yourself from it. I'm missing a little, so let's fix this a little bit. So we have a little bling, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You understand that it is important for you to integrate that part of yourself, the darkest parts of yourself. If you keep this at a distance, this understanding, if you keep the understanding of your darkness at a distance, it will find a way to resurface in ways uncontrollable and unconceivable to you. It is my recommendation to anyone on any kind of path, whether it's spiritual, religious, or you're just a regular and you just want to, improve yourself, is that you have to look at the darkest parts of yourself. You have to. If you are walking on this path, whatever path you're on, and you don't recognize it, it will be recognized. No matter if you want to recognize it or not, it will find a way. It'll find a way in your unconscious actions, in your unconscious thoughts, in potentially the way that you treat people. And this is something that you want to avoid, right? You don't want to distance yourself from any aspect of your soul. I personally categorize the soul or divide the soul into 5 separate parts. I will get into this in a later video on my main channel. Once it becomes available, I will have the link below. But the shadow really is there to protect you. It's there to be seen. We have come to this realm as human beings to experience polarity, the dark and the light aspects of this world. You cannot be of the mind that only the light works for you. That the darkness should be ignored, that you shouldn't acknowledge the darker thoughts that come into your head. You're only half of a human if you do that. And that half becomes false light, right? You cannot have light without the darkness. You can't. So if you are constantly in a positive mindset, if you are constantly neglecting the roughness, the uncertainty, the scary things of this world and your journey here, you are less than what you are meant to be. I have learned that personally. I spent maybe a good 2 years of my life focusing on the lighter aspects of myself. That quickly became delusion. And delusion in such a sinister way, because I got to a point where, I had romantic issues while also new romantic adventures, right? And because I was so caught up with the idea that I could do no wrong, I eventually could not see where I was leading myself down the path of doing hella wrong things that hurt other people. And I'm the type of bitch who wants to be accountable. I'm the type of person who wants to have awareness so that I'm able to maybe not control a situation, but fully be in control of my actions. Understand where and why I do the things I do. Well, where I can be accountable and why I'm doing the things I'm doing. If I am not able to do that, I have to ask myself why. And if you're not someone who has this as a daily practice, because I do believe that this inherently comes innately to me, where it's natural for me to ask myself the questions of why I'm doing what I'm doing. What are the motivations? What are my intentions? Are they clear? Are they pure? Are they do I have an ulterior motive? Do I like that ulterior motive? I'm curious. I like to ask myself these questions. And so it's important and it's imperative for me to engage in that thought process, in those mental exercises. And if I don't, then something will fall to the wayside. If I don't acknowledge that, hey, I'm having a fucked up thought about my partner, or I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I got this hands down, but I'm just sharing my experience in hopes that you take something from it. And I'm just in a ranty mood, so I think it's good for me to be able to share. If I have dark thoughts about my partner, hypothetically, right? Let's say I'm thinking that my partner is doing something wrong to me. They hurt my feelings, and so now I want to hurt their feelings back because I'm a petty bitch, and yes, I am a petty hoe. So I have to acknowledge that I have pettiness within me, that I'm capable of that pettiness. And that pettiness, if I choose to engage in it, in the fullness of it, can hurt my partner in such a way that it may be unrepairable. So how can I interact with that aspect of myself, with that characteristic, with my pettiness, in ways that, yes, honors me, but it honors my relationship and it doesn't tear down my partner? And I would not be able to do that. And this applies on all your relationships. How do I acknowledge and let this part of myself live in a way that honors me and honors my relationship? I would not be able to do that if I don't acknowledge that those things exist. If I'm saying, and if I want to not be a petty person, the natural thing, or the thing that society teaches you to do, is to neglect that, to say, no, I am not a petty person. I do not engage in those negative behaviors or emotions. And so therefore I am not those things. And then you sever that connection within yourself. You sever that understanding. You sever that clarity. Admit to yourself that you are in fact a shitty human being. My battery ran out. That's the one thing about this camera, as great as it is, these batteries run out dumb quick. So I had to take a minute, change the battery, and get back to it. I was saying, you have to admit to yourself that you are in fact a shitty human being. We all are. We have parts of ourselves that we don't like to admit exist. It's It's the natural order of things. The importance of this is to also understand that you are, as much as you are bad, you are also good. It's one cannot exist without the other. But if you neglect one aspect of yourself, you are sure to become unbalanced in the way that you interact with the world, in the way that you interact, most importantly, with yourself. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that primarily because you're going to hurt yourself, yes. But if you're like me, and you are loving and considerate and want to be respectful of other people's time, other people's journeys, not to a fault where you are sacrificing yourself, of course, you must be considerate of how you feel, of what you feel, and the truth of that. Stop hiding behind the niceties, the politeness, what society tells you is correct or incorrect. Those things are not helping you. Those things are to control you, to make you feel part of the herd while not ruffling too many feathers. And this is why we are in the world that we are in today, specifically in the United States. And speaking from this perspective, right, living here in New York City, living in the United States, I find overall, as a culture, we like to ignore the idea that we have characteristics as a people, right, as a society, as a civilization, that are not the best. You know, you hear this, oh, USA, best country in the world, wealthiest country in the world, and we're over here fucking suffering. People can't afford their groceries. People can't afford rent. The healthcare system is literally so stupid that they murdered a CEO. And so there is a reckoning that I believe is happening, and that I believe we have to all contribute to. The reckoning is that all of us have that darkness inside of us, whatever it looks like and however it looks like, we have it inside of us. And it is screaming right now. Fucking traumatizing. It wants to be heard. It wants to be seen. Do the work. Do the work that you need to do in order for your darkness to be seen, to be heard, to be felt, to be integrated as part of your experience here. You do yourself a disservice every single time that you say that you are not what you are. You are just as much good as you are bad, and vice versa. Lean into it. If you lean into the totality, the wholeness of who you are, you're unstoppable. Because you know yourself. Maybe not know yourself fully because we're constantly evolving and expanding who we are, right? But we cannot ignore those parts of ourselves that really do the job and the work to balance us out. Anyways, just a couple thoughts. I'm working on a video that covers this from a more spiritual and mystic perspective, and I hope that it does bring people more of a learning experience when I finish it. But yeah, just thoughts on my journey. I hope y'all have a good day, night, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. Peace out.